Thank you, NHS, for everything that you're doing. Thank you.
I just wanted to quickly say a massive thank you to the NHS. You guys are incredible. Thank you so much.
Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Daily Footy and Other Sports with yours truly, Taz, and of course Sean over there.
Sean,
What
I
does he
haven't
do that
shaved.
for? He's shaved, and I'm calling this a lockdown beard. I'll probably get rid of it at some point, but yeah, we're gonna do another transfer show basically today. It's actually been a quiet day, as it turns out. This is literally the day after I said we're not struggling to find stuff to talk about, and then we have a quiet one. For those of you who've been watching us the last couple of days, we've been doing a quick Tom Moore update, and he is currently standing at about 24.1 million, which is staggering. He just incredible, and it is really hopefully making a massive difference to so many people connected to the NHS at the moment, and care workers as well. So incredible, absolutely wonderful. What was our main first topic? Before we move on to the transfers, we got two things we want to quickly talk about. The first was Friday was, I think, the first time they had a sort of a stay-at-home darts tournament all round or something like that, and Peter Wright was one of the headline acts. Massive props to Peter. Actually, he's well known for having very elaborate clothes and awesome hairstyles that his wife does, and she put an awesome NHS in a heart sign on his head as well. With her I'm guessing hair paint or whatever it was. I don't know what she used, but yeah, it was cool. Didn't work out very well for him on the day itself, but it's nice that he really got involved. I'm not convinced on how that tournament works, but because it's an individual tournament, individual type of game where each turn is unique and each turn doesn't get impacted by another one apart from pressure that you get and the audience themselves. We will see if that catches on. Do you have any opinions on this one, or should we move on?
Well, I think it's a major factor if you don't have the audience there, but you have to live with what you've got. People go there just for a laugh or Friday night. People dress up in all sorts of funny gear, so
Get hammered, yes.
But yeah, you have to deal with the current predicament. We want players and athletes to actually compete, so it's better than nothing.
It's one of the few sports where you can actually do that, to be fair. So I guess it sort of makes sense to me. I know Andy Murray's doing a sort of a virtual tennis tournament or something. Coincidentally, one of the players he's allowed to sort of choose is his countryman Carl Edmund, but Andy Murray himself is not on the game. Very odd. But yes, you wanted to mention something very quickly as well before we move on to the transfers.
Of course. So, in regards to active sports, SmackDown was actually one of the best shows I've seen in a while from the Performance Center. New Day were able to recapture the tag team championships in a really good triple threat. Big E was relentlessly taken out a lot, and he won. Well done to Big E. Sonya Deville had a great promo with Mandy Rose about the whole storyline. Recommend you guys to watch it. Braun Strowman, Bray Wyatt, brilliant start of the promo with the tag team women's champions introducing them. Very good match. And there was a few other good matches as well. And I believe we focus that on another day, but fantastic all-round SmackDown show.
Yep, another day, and yet it's a new day. Yes.
Admission. But I would say I have to say one thing quickly, that without the Dudley boys, the New Day wouldn't have actually had opportunity to win to establish themselves as a tag team champions. And last night saw them get one reign away from equaling their record title reign. So it's fantastic how you can use old stars, the old aging stars, to help the new potential featuring stars.
you know what? We'll move on very quickly, but I just wanted to quickly add to that and say, well, should we be more impressed by the number of times you've won the world title, or should we be more impressed by someone who's held the title for a long period of time? Don't answer
Actually,
it, but don't answer it, but ponder it, and we'll discuss that at length. But tell me, you know what? Tell me in the comments, guys. What do you think? What do you think is more impressive? The number of times something's been won, unless of course it's, it depends on the sport, of course. But in terms of WWE, is it more impressive if you've won the title a certain number of times, or if you've held it for a certain number of times, for a certain period of time? Sorry. But yeah, we've got transfers to discuss, starting with Jadon Sancho. So apparently Dortmund are trying to offer him a 4 million. Is it 4 million a year? Or was it just a bonus? No, a 4 million pay rise if he was to turn down a move to the Premier League. Do you honestly think? I don't think he'd be disgusted if he stayed in Dortmund. He gets along with people. He's a really nice guy, playing great football. They're playing decent enough football. Do you think he'll firstly stay? Do you really think he'll, or do you think he'll move on?
So the interesting predicament here is that it seems it's gone beyond a sporting decision to want to return to the Premiership. Regardless of whether everybody has said that young Englishmen going to the Bundesliga has helped them raise their game, it just seems like the fact that he's been linked to two sides that arguably aren't as established this season anyway, compared to Dortmund in Chelsea and Manchester United, it just shows that he's homesick.
Yeah, I think that's probably it, to be honest with you. Obviously it's interesting. He consider United, for example, for its history, but he might consider Chelsea because he's a London boy, and they are the two clubs, the main clubs being linked to him in the Premier League. So I'd be intrigued to know. I think it's like a win-win situation for him because, he's in a club that he actually likes and does seem to get along with people. And that's a nice position to be in. You would want to leave on good terms, and I'd hope that if he did leave, it would be on good terms.
They look a lot better since January transfer window, getting Haaland and Chan. We spoke about this numerous amount of times. Before the January transfer window, Dortmund and Bayern had issues. They just looked rejuvenated, and it was actually a shame that they weren't able to beat PSG. I think it's a shame if he leaves. Dortmund have got
Football's football. I don't think it'll make any difference. They'll still make the Champions League next year, which is why one of the things that people are saying, he's saying himself, is, or at least the rumours we're hearing, is more likely to join United if they make the Champions League. And I get the impression if the United don't, then he probably will stay at Dortmund. So I guess that's my way of saying he probably prefers United of the two choices. Interesting one next, actually. We've got Arturo Vidal being linked to Newcastle United. But the suggestion is that would happen if Max Allegri was to displace Steve Bruce if he does get the boot. Well, it's two big things there. Do we see Steve Bruce losing his job anytime soon? I think he's been doing a brilliant job personally. And secondly, try being as brief as you can. I know you're not the best at that. And then secondly, do you really think Arturo Vidal would consider a move like that?
It's a buzzing moment at Newcastle right now. So the predicament is a lot of people, despite Bruce, as you rightly say, has done a similar job to Rafa Benitez, he's not liked at all. He's had a lot of problems with Alain Maxime. They've had a lot of scuffles, and a lot of people
He's winning them over. He is winning them over. And I know a few Newcastle fans, and they're jokingly or not, they're still saying his name. You know when they're mocking you, and they're not mocking him at the moment.
Likewise, there's a lot of Newcastle fans that, whilst they do want to keep loyal to him because he's a Geordie himself, they do see that on the Rafa Benitez, under less investment, they were basically the similar level of performances were delivered. Now, what's interesting is that with the new potential investment, with a guy that has more money than even the Man City owners and the PSG owners, the Prince of Saudi. They, if are they going to follow FFP rules? We do not know. There's an endless amount of potential. We've seen players like Harry Kane even linked to Newcastle. So it's just open to speculation. Would Allegri want to have another position of going to a club that's not stable? He wasn't great at Milan, but when he replaced Conte at Juve, he became really good. It's a risk for him to go to Newcastle.
Do you know what I mean? Most managers that go to Juve in the current climate, they're going to win me over at other clubs. And Allegri was atrocious at AC Milan, but then miraculously he got the job at Juve. And I thought, what's going on there? How does that add up? So he will win me over when he goes to another club. And it sounds crazy to say, but he hasn't won me over yet. I kind of want him to go to a bigger club, prove me wrong. It's different having these amazing players just sort of making it so much easier for you. But yeah, I mean, I don't foresee Bruce going anywhere. And if Vidal is connected to Allegri coming, then I don't see Vidal coming either, unfortunately. But we'll see what happens with that one.
Vidal, he wants game time, but he's more familiar with the Italian game. He's more likely to return to Conte and feel very close.
Well, another one we've seen, another one I've read is Pablo Mari, who's currently on loan at Arsenal, is considering making his loan deal permanent. I haven't actually seen him being featured very much. Has he been injured a lot or something? Or has he just not? Have they not been playing very well at all? But
he didn't really come with a lot of fitness. He did all right for when they played against Liverpool in the World Club Cup. He's got a good relationship with Arteta because he was part of the Man City setup beforehand. So I think it's just more of a, me from the past, give me an opportunity. And Arsenal need options in defence because they've been very weak in that particular area.
I think you could argue, weirdly enough, they've got some very good players who are in midfield and up front who are aging, but they're still decent enough. In defence, those that are aging are not good enough. You know what I mean? Like Aubameyang isn't young, but he's still got the quality. Ozil, I don't know what's going on with him anymore. Can't name a midfielder now. Well, they got Ceballos, haven't they, for the moment? I do like Ceballos.
Who may stay?
Who may stay?
He may stay.
We'll see. Yeah, he seems to like it there, but I reckon he would have stayed without hesitation if someone like Santi Cazorla was still there. He's like their Juan Mata, just a really nice, likable guy, quality footballer. I haven't got any.
He wanted game time.
Yeah.
Well, I like Arteta's approach with him. It's a fascinating issue, a fascinating topic you just brought about there. Ceballos was brought in order to take over Ozil. But then when Emre left, because Emre had issues with Ozil and Ozil had unfortunate robbery attempts, it felt like Ozil won Arteta over, but then Ozil became inconsistent himself, and Ceballos, I can't say my Spanish as well as you.
Well, firstly, it's Ozil. Ozil. Ceballos. No, I mean, to be brutally honest, I think Ozil at the start was much better. He's just been so inconsistent with both form, injuries in the last couple of years. He's lost a lot of his fan base, and his own attitude hasn't really helped that, unfortunately, either. So I don't know what to make of him. I like Ceballos a bit more, and he's a decent enough age to make something of himself. Now, the next topic, however, next person, is a very intriguing one because he's a high-profile player, but he basically summarizes everything that's going on right now in terms of transfers, and that's Kylian Mbappe. The reason I mention him is basically he's rumored to
see his value drop by 35 to 40 million because of the pandemic. Obviously, it's all relative in relation to other figures dropping and things like that, but it just tells you, I mean, whatever crazy figure that these guys may have been worth before, they ought to be 10, 20, 30 less than they were before. And not even someone like Mbappe is immune to that drop, Actually, I think, to be fair, it affects the selling club more, doesn't it, than the player itself. The player only has to negotiate wages and bonuses. So it's startling when you hear that kind of figure thrown out there, but it's hardly surprising either, is it?
At the same time, though, what's also fascinating, in order to add on to what you've just mentioned, he's sponsored by Adidas. Liverpool are getting a new new sponsor in Adidas themselves.
I thought it was Nike.
Was it Nike? Okay.
I think so, yeah. United or Adidas. I can't see Adidas getting United and Liverpool. That'll get messy.
So Nike. So Nike, nevertheless, are the sponsors that really want to facilitate the move. And Mbappe has always been seen as the guy that should go to the big two in Spain. However, he's often really flirted with the idea of going to Liverpool for a year and a half now. He was really impressed with them during the last season as well, and this season, and it could be a possibility. People have seen Mane, he was linked to Real Madrid and nearly went to Real Madrid, according to rumours, when Real Madrid beat Liverpool. And if Zidane stayed as the manager, he was apparently off to Real. So the rumours are suggesting that Mane might go to Real, and then they can afford Mbappe, who's dead set of leaving PSG.
I mean, we mentioned that particular transfer a couple of days ago. I still don't think if one of the forwards go, I just see Werner making the most sense in terms of how much it'll cost, and his flexibility, the German connection with Klopp as well. I can't foresee any other signings. If they got Mbappe, yes, it would be absolutely ridiculous. Is it weird of me to say I think he's got higher ambitions than Liverpool? I know, it's a bit of a weird one to say.
I think you're saying that basically because of your allegiance to Manchester United. Because
no. I mean, I just think you can't justify their 30 years compared to what's Real Madrid and Barcelona have been doing in recent years, and that's why I'm saying he probably, I guess rightly so, in terms of what they've done, regards them higher. And they are still, continuing their degrees of success, aren't they, as well? And United, you can't argue with what they've done in the last 30 odd years as well. So,
yeah, that's a fair point. But it's just that Liverpool are hands down have been the best club in Europe this season, hands down.
But this year, I actually think that looking at what I've seen this year, someone is going to find them out, because they've got some very, very high quality players in there, and they've got a number of good players in there. But the strength in depth is the concern. What's been so good for them is that they've been able to keep 90% of their best players fit. And those that got niggles have not been out as long as they could have been. And that's why. Other sides have just been unlucky and had massive injuries. Spurs have had 2 gigantic ones up front. United have had a couple of massive ones, crucial players that we couldn't afford to lose. So I just think they have been fortunate to that extent. So and they've capitalised.
Maddison, he's basically missed a lot of games. It's just because Adrian did start really well.
Why do we have to talk about Alisson? They got to get past Van Dijk, for goodness sake.
Still,
you're not going to get past Van Dijk very often. So I mean, come on. You just need, generally speaking, a decent enough goalie between the sticks will be okay most of the time. I mean, Adrian made a couple of absolute hashes, but he's not a rubbish keeper. We know he's not. So,
Alisson's done some amazing saves, even when Van Dijk
well,
was
he's made some
found.
hashes as well. He's hashed up as well. So he's not. You know, to be honest with you,
He's-
gone are the days where the very, very best are having flawless performances on a consistent basis. How many errors are we seeing from the very best? All of them.
Yeah.
All of them.
By the way, I have to say one more point. In regards to Mbappe, your guy from ex-Rangers man and ex-Monaco man, Jeremy Rotan, I think that's his name. He actually gave a bombshell of news that before the pandemic has started, Mbappe actually was very close to agreeing a deal to sign for Real Madrid this summer. So you may have a point that he still regards going to Real Madrid as the better option, may just be flirting with Liverpool to bump his wage packet furthermore.
Possibly. We need to rapidly speed on because you keep dragging. I keep asking for one line to give me massive explanations. Okay, Arsenal and Everton are after Odsonne Edouard from Celtic. I think that's pretty old news, actually. I don't know why that's still being talked about quite as much. Arsenal have also made contact over a centre-back called Axel Disasi from Reims. I do not know anything about him. Happy to move on. I don't know anything about him.
Can we talk about Leicester and Everton furthermore? Because that's actually on Wolves. They've been. We spoke about it a few days ago.
Not even mentioned Leicester and Wolves. Where did you go? How are we speaking further about
Everton? They've actually been linked with Philippe Coutinho. That's just a bombshell there. An ex-Liverpool man linked with Everton Leicester.
It's a joke one. Ha ha ha. We know it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
So if they do make the Champions,
yeah, no, they're not. Let's not even humour that one as a rumour.
If I was Coutinho, I'd rather go to Leicester than most Man U and Chelsea at the moment because United
he'll be wanted more there. Yeah, probably. United won't want him. He won't want to go to United. Everton won't want him. He won't want to go to Everton. If he truly cares about his Liverpool connections, he won't want to go to these clubs. And I don't think either of these clubs want him. I think he could be interesting at Leicester. Yeah, why not?
Brendan Rodgers knows him well. Brendan Rodgers knows how to get his
right, calm down. No, we're not. We're gonna have to cut these videos short, but instead of going through our whole list because of this. We're already going over. Liverpool interested in Marcelo Brozovic from Inter Milan. Can you give me a quick one-line answer? Yes and a reason, or no and a reason?
Yes. He said they need depth. Liverpool need depth. Brozovic is a top player.
Okay. I wish you could do that for all of these. This is an interesting one. But apparently Liverpool have not contacted RB Leipzig over Timo Werner. Are we buying that as a rumour?
That's unless if he wants to go to Bayern Munich after all. Maybe there's...
Oh yeah, that would be so anticlimactic if that happens.
Yeah.
But
it's the theme of the Bundesliga.
Well, the other rumour was about Coutinho. Barcelona apparently hope that somebody in the Premier League is going to buy him. How sad is it that a decent player is sort of being branded around like this? He's actually been quite good at Bayern Munich, hasn't he?
Exactly.
Okay, Liverpool will lower their asking price for Jadon Sancho because of the pandemic. He falls into the bracket of decent player but not getting enough game time because he's a forward, isn't he? And what did I say about people who are a forward and playing at Liverpool? Only if you're an up-and-coming youngster or an okay at a push player like Origi, does it make sense for you to agree to want a Minamino? Does it make sense for you to agree to, go there with the knowledge that you'll probably be a sub and getting cup games and things like that? Shaqiri just should not consider himself to be a sub. He's a decent enough player, isn't he? He merited the move to Liverpool because of what he did at Stoke. And he's exactly what I'm saying about getting that move right.
He's been
That's
injured
why.
a lot.
Yeah, but
He just
he still gets ignored. We can't ignore that.
yeah. Of course.
He's not going to get. He's not. I wouldn't pick him over the other three, even if he wasn't
Yeah.
injured. Well,
Well,
you've
would you
dragged
pick
on,
one?
so we might have to wrap up because of how long you've taken.
Let me just say quick Inter Milan one. Inter Milan are linked with selling Lautaro Martinez to Barcelona. They want Griezmann in exchange. Icardi is definitely leaving Inter, most likely going to Juve. And as you said, Inter want Vidal as well. There's actually, Inter Milan is the hot topic at Serie A. And one more thing, they want Moise Kean to replace Lautaro Martinez. That's an interesting deal. So Everton may get more money in order to invest in their squad.
This Keane's an interesting one. It's because of his age, we've got to give him a chance, but it was a very odd signing by Everton. Well, actually an exciting one, but a very odd move from him. Yeah, we will see what happens with Moise Kean, but we need to wrap up, Shawnee. I don't know how long this video lasts. Zoom doesn't actually tell you as much, so we'll only find out at the end of the video. But as ever, guys, if you haven't done so already, please make sure you comment below, like the video, and if you haven't already, please subscribe. Yep, just down there, of course. For all you regular viewers, you know I do my absurd pointing, and Sean always points in the wrong direction. He still hasn't got it right. We're almost 30 videos in, and he still hasn't got it right. But yes, he's got it right now. But until then, guys, yeah, and of course, yeah, please subscribe and throw shouts out. Tell everyone else, get them on board. We'd love to speak to some of you guys. You've seen some of our call-ins. We'd love to get a few more of you guys involved. So yeah, we'll see you guys at the next video. Hey guys.